Good afternoon. We'll call the Ascension Parish Council meeting of Thursday, April 19th to order. We appreciate everyone being out here tonight. We'll ask Councilwoman Cheryl Fontenot to give the invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, tonight we come before your throne and we don't come asking for anything. Lord, we come blessing your name and thanking you for this wonderful parish as we celebrate 200 years in this parish. We thank you for the United States of America and the country that we call free. We just thank you for the continuous blessings, and we thank you that you will keep our soldiers safe and abroad and bring them home quickly. And we pray also tonight, Lord, that you console and bless those that have been in this tragic condition that they find themselves in America, as they mourn their children, Father, in this great tragedy in Virginia, Father God. We just thank you right now in Jesus' name that you are able to comfort us at this hour. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move now to the roll call. We have Mr. Martin McConnell, who is absent with excuse. He's ill. And Jared Barriger, who is absent with excuse. He is working with our economic development director on a project that is very important to the parish. So we hopefully he'll be successful. We'll move now to the chair's additions. I do have an item dealing with traffic control signs. Ms. Bonnie Burrell, as I understand it, there was an email that was sent, and it did not make it to Ms. Patterson in time, but this item needs to be taken up tonight.
Moved, Mr. Chairman. Second, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Lambert moves to put it on the agenda, second by Mr. Hillensback. We will place this on the agenda, and we will place this under the Transportation Committee. Item 11D. Yes, ma'am.
May I ask you something? Could we possibly put it with her other bid item?
That'll be fine. We can. That would be item 14.
14B.
That will not be a problem. Let's move this council to item 14. We'll make it 14B.
A good suggestion, Suzanne. Thank you.
Patterson, is there any other two-thirds that I do not know about, council? Okay, we'll move on now to the public comment period. If you have any comment on any agenda items tonight, please sign in with the parish secretary, Ms. Patterson. Please note the item that you would like to speak on. We'll move now to presentations. Presentation 5A is the proclamation to proclaim Red Hat Ladies Week in Ascension Parish. Isn't that obvious? We have certainly a fine group of ladies that are here tonight, all wearing their red hat and their purple attire. And Ms. Patterson, would you read that proclamation?
I'll be happy to. To proclaim Ladies of the Red Hat Society Week in Ascension Parish. Whereas the Red Hat Society began as a result of a few women deciding to greet middle age with nerve, humor, and elan, and whereas Sue Ellen Cooper started the Red Hat Society after reading the poem Warning by Jenny Joseph in Fullerton, California in 1998, and whereas today there are 1.5 million Red Hatters in over 40,000 chapters in the United States and 30 other countries, and whereas these chapters are an opportunity for those who have shouldered various responsibilities at home and in the community their whole lives to say goodbye to burdensome responsibilities and obligations for a little while. And whereas the Red Hat Society ladies are helping to develop an enormous nurturing network of women over 50 and under by joining red-gloved hands and spreading the joy and companionship they are finding within and among the chapters. And whereas ladies of the Red Hat Society have discovered a mission to gain higher visibility for women in their aging group and to reshape the way they are viewed by today's culture. Now there be it proclaimed, I, Ronnie Hughes, Parish President, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereunto proclaim the week of April 23, 2007, Ladies of the Red Hat Society in Ascension Parish, and urges all of his fellow citizens to observe this week by connecting with friends, fellow employees and relatives, and with religious, school, and civic groups to support the Red Hat Ladies of Ascension Parish.
I just wanted to officially welcome the ladies who are here tonight sporting their red hats, and to ask all to remember Red Hatter Barbara Cox, who is recovering from an auto accident this week that happened last week. Several years ago, I joined a group, and finding a red hat was almost impossible. Nevertheless, I found one and am proud to wear that hat tonight. Now you can find red hats everywhere, and there are chapters popping up regularly. So if there are no openings in a current group, just start your own. Several months ago, while at a local beauty shop, someone came in and was talking about her Red Hat Club. I became interested again and did some research. Tonight I wish to bring to the attention of the women of Ascension Parish the existence of the Red Hat Society here in Ascension. Lillian Verani, better known as the ever-loving Lil Queen of the chapter known as La Chapeaux Rouge de la Prairie, or the Red Hats of the Prairie, answered my email. I joined her group at a luncheon held at Homer's house and was delighted to meet CAO Thomas Pierce's wife, Carol, who also came to join this chapter. For years, some of us watched as our husbands left us behind with children to go off somewhere in the woods and sport their camouflage and orange. Now we are taking our turn and believe we have earned the right to be silly. However, don't let that fool you, as we are still very involved in our families, our community, and our country. April the 25th is the national day that the society acknowledges as the Red Hat Society Day. We here in Ascension Parish will recognize the week surrounding that day. Wanted to let everybody know that Tanger Mall is having a special Red Hat Ladies Day on Saturday, April the 28th, beginning at 9 a.m. Spread the news. Every lady takes a special name for this society. Some names of interest are Grand Duchess of Muggs, Countess of the Caribbean, Lady Prissy, and there are many more. I now wish to read to the audience the poem that began it all. We all wish to thank the parish president and the men on this council for letting us have this silly moment. This is what began us all. It's called Warning. When I am an old woman, I shall wear purple with a red hat which doesn't go and doesn't suit me. And I shall spend my pension on brandy and summer gloves and satin sandals and say we've no money for butter. I shall sit down on the pavement when I'm tired and gobble up samples in the shops and press alarm bells and run my stick along the public railings and make up for the sobriety of my youth. I shall go in my slippers in the rain and pick flowers in other people's gardens and learn to spit. You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat and eat 3 pounds of sausages at a go, or only bread and pick for a week and hoard pens and pencils and beer mats and things in boxes. But now we must have clothes that keep us dry and pay our rent and not swear in the street and set a good example for the children. We must have friends to dinner and read the papers. But maybe I ought to practice a little now so people who know me are not too shocked and surprised when suddenly I am old and start to wear purple. Thank you, ladies, for coming. And I'm assuming that you'll take a picture. Someone will take a picture.
We'll adopt the proclamation. Somebody want to move on?
So
You'll have to
moved.
recuse yourself since you're part of the group. Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Hillensback.
No, that was Mr. Lambert.
Excuse me, Mr. Lambert. Any opposition? Surely there's none. And the reason why I let Ms. Fontenot talk first because she was the only one with a red hat. But anyway, Yes, let's Parish President, would you like to go down and take a picture of Ms. Fontenot?
Hey, George.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, while they're going down, I'd like to say my wife and I just got back from vacation in Gatlinburg, and we ran into a group of Red Hat ladies over in Cherokee, North Carolina. And just for the record, they were very well behaved.
We do have two queens here.
Okay,
Mr. Valentine, we have Queen Carmen and the ever-loving Lil Queen.
okay, well, both of those need to be right in the front, right when they take the picture.
We'll take a picture for you.
Don't let me forget.
I would like to thank Mr. Hughes, the parish president, all of the gentlemen on the council for giving us this honor, and I thank you on behalf of the chapters in Ascension Parish and the society at large. And most of all, we thank our own Cheryl, because she was the catalyst by which this proclamation became a reality.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
George, get her to state her name, if you would, please.
My name is Lillian Variani, and I'm the ever-loving little queen
Okay.
of Les Chapeaux Rouge de la Prairie.
All right, everybody ready? Say whiskey. All right, one more time.
Brandy. Say Brandy.
All right. Okay, got it.
All right, hang on. Thank you so much, ladies. We appreciate that. Very much. Okay, we'll move now to agenda item number 5B, which is a proclamation to proclaim Shell Chemical Geismar Plant Week in Ascension Parish. Ms. Patterson.
To proclaim Shell Chemical Geismar Plant Week in Ascension Parish, whereas this year marks the 40th anniversary of the Shell Chemical LP Geismar plant, and whereas through the years this plant has demonstrated in many ways its acceptance of a role of responsibility in the economic growth and development of not only our parish but also our state, and this long record of accomplishment deserves public expression of appreciation. And whereas the Shell Chemical LP Geismar plant produces 3 major chemical products, detergent products, olefins, and ethylene glycols, and whereas chemical products manufactured at Geismar are exported worldwide to countries such as Brazil, Canada, France, Hong Kong, Japan, Sweden, United Kingdom, South Korea, mainland China, India, Netherlands, and Saudi Arabia, and whereas more than 500 Louisiana residents work at the Geismar plant in the day-to-day operation, and most employees have homes nearby, with Ascension Parish being especially popular. And whereas Shell Chemical LP has contributed immensely in many worthwhile civic, cultural, and educational activities in the surrounding communities. Now there be it proclaimed, I, Ronnie Hughes, Parish President, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereunto proclaim April 21st through 28th, 2007, as Shell Chemical Geismar Plant Week in Ascension Parish.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson.
Mr. Chairman, I think Gary Lacombe is here to accept
Mr.
that.
Gary Lacombe is here, Representative. Gary, would you stand, come forward, we'll take a picture. Mr. Savoy, Mr. Lambert, Mr. Thompson, Parish President.
One more.
And we certainly do appreciate Shell Chemical. Over the years, they have definitely been a very good community neighbor and friend to Ascension Parish Schools and Ascension Parish government. And Mr. Clome has been to many, many meetings with very good information. So we appreciate Shell Chemical and all they do for the
Need
parish.
a motion on that, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
A
please.
motion on it.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lambert, second by Mr. Thompson. Certainly, there's no opposition. We appreciate that proclamation. Okay, we'll move now to agenda item number 6, Parish President's report. Parish President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, members of the council. My address tonight is kind of a result of the advisory commission for the bicentennial asking me to wear this shirt that I'm not sure how it's going to cost me how much yet, but I want to just remind all of you our bicentennial starts tomorrow night, 4 p.m., and all of you will be recognized about 7:30, 7:45, it looks like. We'll be there tomorrow evening on the main stage. And invite all of our citizens to the bicentennial this weekend. The weather forecast is excellent. A lot of people have been praying hard for good weather, and it's exciting. And if you haven't been out there, I encourage you to go by tomorrow during the day and just see the work that goes into erecting a stage. It's 100-something foot wide with all the laser and light technology. Now, you have in your package tonight a letter from the Amite River Basic Commission concerning a public meeting, and it's important that all of our citizens who could be impacted by flood insurance, and especially those in areas that are prone to low flooding from time to time, may want to attend this meeting. Mr. Rue will be one of the presenters from our East Ascension Drainage District. It will be next Tuesday, April 24th, at our public library at 6:30, and the one in Galvez, not the one in Gonzales. And there will be representatives there from National Flood Insurance Program and other organizations that are prepared to answer questions. As you know, we've been going through re-rating the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is part of the Homeland Security, throughout our state, especially the southern part of our state, since the storms of 2005. And so this is an opportunity for members in our community, as well as members of the council, to go and be part of that program next Tuesday night at our library. The only other thing I want to say is that those of you realize our new Public Works Director, Mr. Turney, is not here tonight. The reason being he is being honored by his university where he received his bachelor's degree back in the early 60s. Kind of like the Hall of Fame for athletes, for engineers. And so he sent me a letter a couple of days ago and reminded me that his university was having a program in his honor where they put name in a jersey, or I guess retiring his number from an athletic perspective. So it's quite an honor for Bob to be receiving this from his university, and so he'll be back in town to work next week. But he and his wife are going back, I think, the state of Missouri is where he went to an engineering school. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. If there's something else or any questions you have about the meeting next Tuesday, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would ask that Mr. Babin and the Ascension Waterway Commission also maybe just make sure they're informed and they're aware of this meeting. They might want to attend that as well. If you,
I know Mr. Ditmar was in the commission meeting last week.
Right.
With them, so I
They-
think they discussed this, Doug, but I'm not positive. I will check
There
on
was
it.
one requested.
That's it. All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on now to agenda item number 7, consent agenda, the adopt the regular council minutes for April 5th, 2007. Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Savoy. Any discussion on the minutes? Any opposition? So moved. Agenda item number 8, Utilities Committee, Chairman Jared Barriger. Chairman Barriger is not here. Who is the vice chairman, Jim?
Mr. Chairman, I'll
Okay.
take it up. We had Country Ridge funding, and
As I recall, the discussion dealt around special funding. Finance Department is supposed to come back to the council with some information. Ms. Patterson, you have information on that? Do you have copies? Yes, ma'am. Would you pass that out, please? Okay. And certainly we won't act on this tonight. We'll need to review what these funding possibilities are, and we'll have this back on the Utilities Committee meeting, because they will meet probably again before we do. If not, we'll have it on next council meeting. Thank you, Mr. Lambert.
thank you.
Okay, we'll move now to the Personnel Committee, Chairman Savoy. Chairman Savoy, you have anything from personnel?
No, sir, I don't. I was really reviewing the utilities on this right here.
Well, what I spoke was we'll review this either in the Utilities Committee meeting or we'll review it at the next council meeting. I don't want to try to push something on anybody just yet.
Okay.
Give us time to review this and discuss this.
All right, Mr. Chairman. And no, sir, I do not have anything on the personnel committee.
Thank you. We'll move now to Mr. Oliver Joseph, Recreation Committee, agenda item number 10.
Mr. Chairman, yes, we had our committee, our recreation committee meeting, and our meeting we discussed Lorry Middle School and Parker Road Park. We introduced a intergovernmental agreement, and the board is reviewing that. And also we appointed a special committee for the baseball league, what's going on in the parish, and our first meeting on that would be April 25th, right here in the Annex building at 5 o'clock.
Chairman Joseph, that is the subcommittee meeting, or that is a subcommittee meeting that you appointed dealing with the baseball program?
Yes.
Okay. It's April
April 25th.
Next
25th.
Wednesday, Sheriff.
Next Wednesday,
5 p.m.
5 p.m. here in the council chambers.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it? Okay, we'll move now to the Transportation Committee. Chairman Cheryl Fontenot. Ms. Fontenot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met on Tuesday, April the 13th, and welcomed our newly appointed DPW Director, Mr. Charles Turner, who wishes to be known as Bob. And as the parish president said, he is not here tonight because he has another commitment, and we congratulate him for the honor. Mr. Ken Israel is here in the audience. He's our URS representative, and he will handle the items recommended in our committee.
Thank you. The first item is weight limits on Jim Babin Road, or to put additional culverts on the north of Gold Place Road in order to allow vehicles to turn onto Jim Babin Road without going onto private property on either side. Mr. Turner asked that this item give him time to look at the situation, see what can be done before deciding to put load limits on Jim Babin Road.
Motion to table.
Let's motion to defer.
To defer, excuse me.
Thank you. Moved by Mr. Hillensbeck to defer, second by Councilwoman Fontenot. Any objections? So moved. We will defer.
Okay, thank you.
Back to the Transportation Committee.
Yes.
Thank you.
The second item is to remove Woodland Road from the 2005 road project and add Summerfield pending funding, equal funding.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by
No.
Councilman Lambert.
Wait, whoa.
Todd Lambert.
Please.
Hang on. We got a motion by Councilman. Do we have a second? Second, Mr. Lambert. Go ahead, finish.
Mr. Turner and I met with the property owner at the end of the extension where Woodlawn Road was to be extended to. There is a man and a wife who owns a 2.5 acre tract of land. They, I believe, have had discussions with the parish in the past about the parish having to provide them access to their property. And we're having, of course, the reason for the original removal of Woodland Road was because of the pipeline crossings there at the cul-de-sac at the end of Woodland Road. Again, Mr. Turner and I met with this lady and are trying to resolve her problem without getting the parish into.
Okay.
And this, again, recommended this item be passed on at this time until Mr. Turner has been able to resolve this problem.
Okay, Mr. Dempsey Lambert withdraws his second. Mr. Todd Lambert withdraws his motion. Okay, just for a point of information on these committee reports, let's state right off whether the committee talked about it and whether it's coming to this council as an agenda item to be voted on. It probably came out of, Mr. Lambert, you got a comment on that?
Yeah, the committee did
Yes.
recommend this unanimous to
Right.
go the way it is on the agenda.
But what you're telling me, Mr. Israel, is that Mr. Turner has some reservations or has some, like
We got some problems.
We need to state that up. Committee
sorry.
did pass this, and I will accept the motion to
Mr.
defer.
Turner did
again.
write
So moved,
a
Mr.
motion, did write a letter or an email
Okay,
to
we
Ms.
can discuss,
Fontenot.
we'll discuss it in committee. Well, Mr. Hillensbeck moves to defer back to Transportation Committee.
Second.
Second by Mr. Joseph. Discussion.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Savoy.
I'm having a little problem following here.
I am
because
too.
sit on the transportation committee, and we voted on the two items that we already discussed. The transportation committee already moved on it to send it to the full council.
Yes.
That is not the change from the time that we had the transportation committee and voted to bring it to the full council for consideration, and then we had tonight going to back up. I don't understand that, but given the new man, I'm going to give him a break, but that's throwing me off big time.
Right. And we
Well, he
understand.
got additional information on Woodland Road that he did not know about when he presented to the Transportation Committee.
With all due respect, he gave the committee a recommendation. The committee went with his recommendation at the Transportation Committee meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, tonight, at the council meeting, that has changed, and nobody knows about it. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and Mr. Savoy, you all right? Just a second, sit on that. And in the future, once again, Mr. Israel, we need Mr. Turner or yourself to make sure that you contact me, and so we know that we can alert council members when something like this comes up, because we do work on the committee. Yes, Mr. Hillensbeck.
I'd also like to give him the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, some information has changed, or he wouldn't have changed his position. So, with all due respect, I think we ought to respect the new DPW director, and let's hear what information he's gained, and then make that final decision, because it's quite a few dollars that we're talking about here.
And I think everybody's in agreement. So we have a motion on the floor to defer. Any objections? No objections, we'll defer. 11C, Mr. Israel.
Okay, 11C is to increase the patchwork on Church Point Road by 1,065 square yards at a cost of $42,000.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Schexnayder,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Fontenot. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Israel.
Okay, we did discuss the 2007 road list, and everybody has turned in their list. I'm assuming they have been sent to Ms. Bro for a completed list. So if there's anything that you have to add, it would be wise to get it to her as soon as possible. As always, I invite everybody to attend our meeting. It's right here on the second Tuesday of the month, 6:30, or immediately following the Utility Committee, or you can view it live on Cox Cable Channel 21 or ETEL. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Fontenot. We'll move now to the Strategic Planning Committee. Chairman Kent Schexnayder. Ms. Schexnayder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next meeting is Monday, the 23rd at 6 p.m. right here.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move now to agenda item number 13, the Finance Committee. Chairman Barriger, who is absent. Ms. Fontenot, we're going to ask you if you'll go over those for us, please. I'm sorry.
Point of order.
Yes.
Did we not have a two-thirds under transportation?
No, we moved that to the, we moved that.
Okay.
Yeah, we moved it to the,
I didn't scratch it off. Excuse me.
sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Valentine. I am just finding out 30 seconds before the council meeting that I had to take this this awesome job. And
We'll
in
help you
place of
through it.
Mr. Barriger, I do not see anybody from finance. Is there anybody from finance here? Ms. Bonnie?
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay. We have item number 8, authorization of a budget amendment for the food incubator and small business expansion located at Lamar Dixon Expo. I don't see anything in my packet. Do you guys?
No, I do know that it was
It was approved.
approved at the finance
There's no
committee by
money down
majority
here.
vote.
Anything, do you remember what the money amount was?
$39,000.
$39,000
$39,000.
additional.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to lend some information.
Okay, well, let's get a motion on the floor. Councilman Lambert, Dempsey Lambert moves to approve, second by Ms. Fontenot. Discussion, Mr. Scheck-Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I received a call this afternoon, about an hour before the meeting. Mr. Kurtz, who was going to be here and make the whole presentation, is entertaining a possible relocation of a big industry, and it was very important, and so he needed to be there. And so he asked that we just bring this forward. And he made a good presentation at the finance meeting at which we were all here, and it was $39,000 that was needed things for the food incubator to establish small businesses. And so I think it's a good thing, and we need to move forward.
Okay, thank you. That was by preference the meeting with the fact that he and Mr. Barriger, he took the big gun with him. So
You have a motion and a second.
yes, motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
Okay, we have item B, which was an authorization for Fire Protection District Number 1 to advertise for bids for renovation of the new station on Highway 44. And it did.
So moved.
Moved by moved by Councilman Savoy, second by Councilman Hillensback.
No, that was Todd.
I'm sorry, Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
We have item C, which was an authorization for a payment for architectural fees to Grace and Bear Architects for fees associated with the jail expansion project, and they were approved.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Scheck-Snyder, second by Councilman Savoy. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
Item number D, approval of change order for approximately $60,000 for improvements to Betty Street to remove unstable soil and replace it with 12-inch stone base course.
So moved, Chairman.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
Todd Lambert, second by Councilwoman Fontenot. Discussion. Any opposition? So moved.
We have several contract renewals. Number 1, Roberto Macedo and Associates, HUD Section 8 Rental Assistance Program.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Savoy. Second by Councilman Scheck-Snyder. Discussion. Any opposition? So moved.
Number 2, we have a contract with ETEL Sunshine Pages, Ascension Parish Emergency Preparedness Guide.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Dempsey Lambert, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
Number 3, Louisiana Staffing Temporary Employees Contract.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert.
Second.
Second by Councilman Savoy. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
Item number 4 is a contract with Capital Area Human Services, Mental Health Board, and Ascension Parish to provide mental health services to residents of Ascension Parish.
Moved by Councilman Joseph.
Second.
Second by Councilman Thompson. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
Number 5, LSU and the Parish of Ascension GIS consultation and technical support.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Hillensback, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
Item number F, 1, new contracts, intergovernmental agreement between the Parish of Ascension and the town of Sorrento to enforce the Louisiana Uniform Construction Code within towns' corporate limits.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Scheck-Snyder, second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
And then we have item number G, juvenile probation grant years 2005, 2006.
Motion by Councilman Thompson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Savoy. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
That concludes the financial
Thank you,
report.
Ms. Fontenot, for pinch hitting. We'll move now to the general business portion of our agenda. First agenda item will be bids of Ms. Monty Burrell, our purchasing manager. Ms. Burrell.
Good evening. On April 3rd, we received bid for mosquito control chemical. We recommend accepting the lowest bid on each chemical.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Joseph. Discussion. Any opposition? So moved. You also have the item dealing with traffic signs?
Also on April 3rd, we received bids for traffic control signs. We recommend the lowest qualifying bid from traffic control.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Dempsey Lambert, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved.
Thank
you, Ms. Burrell. Move now to agenda item number 15, Baton Rouge Metropolitan Council Resolution 45-383 for the widening of Interstate 12 from Baton Rouge to Hammond and for Interstate 10 from Baton Rouge to Sorrento, the total of 6 lanes. I have this in front of me from the Capital Region. You guys have that in front of you, the information. Anybody has any questions on this? Parish President, you have any comments on this?
Well, just the MPO, Transportation Policy Committee, met again this week, and we're just trying to influence the government and the legislatures. They're talking about a lot of surplus money this year to make sure they put a proportionate share in the fastest growing parishes in the area, which is Ascension and Livingston. So
Motion,
we're
Mr.
hoping they'll
Chairman.
really help.
Motion by Councilman Hillensback, second by Councilman Todd Lambert for the resolution. Any discussion? Other discussion? Dealing with it? Naturally, Mr. Turner's not here, but thank you for that information. And I know that it would be important, very important to this area. Any opposition? Certainly there's none. We'll move now to agenda item number 16. This is an appeal for a job reinstatement for Sandra Marrera and Eric Joseph. I would suggest to the council that we move this to agenda item number 29A.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert. Second. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mr.
Second
Chairman.
by Councilman Hillensback. For the sake of time, this may require an executive session, so we want to certainly take care of business, and then we'll deal with this when we have appropriate time. Any discussion? Any opposition to that? So we'll move agenda item number 16 to 29A. Okay, we'll move now to agenda item number 17, Memorandum of Understanding between the Parish of Ascension and the Ascension Parish Library Board. I did get information late before coming to the meeting tonight that we need to pass on this agenda item also. There was some late development. If any of you guys know anything about it, just let you know there was some late development on that. Mr. Babin asked if we pass on this to the next meeting. Okay, we'll move now to agenda item number 18, Special Tuesday, a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Parish of Ascension and Bobby Blanchard. We do have a couple of speakers on this. First speaker will be Ms. Kathy Edmonston. Ms. Edmonston.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Edmonston, and I'm here because I guess I've probably been involved in Special Tuesday as long as Bobby has. Many of you know my son Zachary, who's here with me tonight, and he has been a participant in this program for probably as long as it's been in existence. In fact, I know many of you, Kent, several others, have been to the program. And I just want to say that I think that Ms. Blanchard is a blessing to our parish. I think she's done a wonderful job, and I know that we have had some concerns raised, and I think at this point the Recreation Committee unanimously decided that Special Tuesday should continue at the Civic Center. And I think subsequently to that, Ms. Blanchard was given a cooperative agreement. And it's also my understanding that this agreement is acceptable to her with a few minor changes. And I have seen the agreement. Looks good to me from all that I know for the past 11 years. I would urge you to adopt the agreement. It seems that we're having more volunteer participation this year than ever before, probably because of some of the press that's gotten out about the program, and some who talk a lot, myself included. And it seems that as far as the parish taking over the program, it just doesn't seem like there's a need for that. We have a good base of volunteers, a good program going, and anytime you have a volunteer situation, it's most of the time more acceptable than if you have just paid employees that, really don't have as much interest as the volunteers possibly. So I see no reason for the parish to take over, and I think that we should leave it to the volunteers and those that have dedicated their services to our Ascension Parish citizens in the past. And so I just want to thank you in advance for your support of Special Tuesday as it is. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Edmonds.
Thank
you. Ms. Catherine Gott. Ms. Catherine has several people that have signed her card also, so we will allow her a little more than 3 minutes. Ms. Gott.
Thank you, and good evening. Special Tuesday has always been a program run independently of parish government by volunteers. For the past 11 years, this program, which is tailored for children and adults with special needs, has been run successfully under the direction of Ms. Bobby Blanchard in the months of June and July, with now over 300 participants. In 2001, Blue Cross and Blue Shield gave their prestigious Angel Award to Ms. Blanchard for the Special Tuesday program in Ascension Parish. This award recognizes those who help children in a volunteer capacity. Ms. Blanchard could not be in attendance tonight due to the hospitalization of her mother, but has asked that I speak for her and convey her sincere gratitude to the past parish presidents, Marchand and Martinez, this council, especially Chairman Valentine and Councilman Todd Lambert, the Sorrento Fire Department, Sheriff Wiley, and those in the community, including staff of the Ascension Citizen, now the Gonzales Weekly Citizen, for their support. Last year when Ms. Blanchard began Special Tuesday, she was told that 2006 would be her last year directing the program. Parish of Ascension Recreation and Culture was to take over the program. This came as a shock. Last month when Ms. Blanchard went to the Ascension Civic Center to inventory the supplies and equipment, she was denied access to the storage room. Only after a discussion of Special Tuesday was placed on the council agenda was she given access. When the use of the Civic Center was in question, Sheriff Wiley, recognizing the worth of the program, offered his facility at the firing range. But this building is just too small. Ms. Blanchard met with Chairman Valentine and Councilman Todd Lambert and was sent to the Recreation Committee. They unanimously decided that Special Tuesday should continue at the Civic Center this year, as it had in the past, and Ms. Blanchard was directed to meet with the Recreation Director. At this meeting, the person who came with her was not allowed into the room. The first words spoken to her were, "This program is a liability to the parish." There have been no medical emergencies or broken bones in the last 11 years. Isn't that amazing? Ms. Blanchard was given a paper entitled Parish of Ascension Recreation and Culture Special Tuesday Program. The clear direction of the Council Recreation Committee was ignored. Putting politics before people has disastrous consequences. Soon after, Ms. Blanchard was approached by a past participant with tears streaming down her face. "We have heard that Special Tuesday is being canceled. Is it true?" Bobby replied, "I don't know." The Cooperative Endeavor Agreement before you allows the program to continue operating as before. Ms. Blanchard has requested some minor changes in Section 1, and I will provide you with a copy of these changes in red. Your support is appreciated and vital for this program to continue. Paid personnel can never replace the passion and commitment of Ms. Blanchard and the volunteers who serve those with special needs in our community. Thank you for your support of Special Tuesday as a volunteer program with this cooperative endeavor agreement, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Goff. Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Something we've been working on for quite a few months, and we finally come to a fix for this solution to keep it operating like it has been. And I want to make that motion that we move on this corporate endeavor agreement, but with the changes. And this minor changes, if y'all look at the agreement in front of y'all, Ms. Blanchard has been they got on here the manager. She wants to change that to director, coordinator. That would be the first change. The second change is we just put Special Tuesdays on the agreement, but she wants to put Bo Porter, which was her grandson that passed away, and that's Bo Porter Special Tuesdays. So that's the second change, just minor changes. And then the third change, instead of just children with disabilities, I want to put people with disabilities, because it's not just children, it's adults, and anybody that's handicapped can attend this. So these three changes need to be in the motion.
I second it.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Snyder. Everybody is in agreement with the changes, I'm sure. Okay. All right. Any discussion, other discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
I've
Councilman Hillsback.
just got one question.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Under item 3 of the cooperative endeavor agreement, it calls for just a one-time funding. For a program of this magnitude, one-time funding of $5,000.
This is something that would come up every year in the budget preparation, just like Ascension, volunteer Ascension does.
Oh, okay,
also.
okay. All right,
So
thank
they
you.
would come back up every year to ask
Right.
for it for each
Okay,
year.
okay, thank
But
you.
it has a one-time,
Once a
amount.
year. All right,
Yeah,
thank
once a
you.
year.
Thank
Any
you
other,
for the
any other
clarification.
comments? Yes, Councilman Snyder.
Yes, I'm a bit prejudiced toward this myself. My daughter's participated for the last 11 years, and I just want to personally thank Bobby. But there's Bobby's a catalyst, but there's a tremendous amount of volunteers for the people in Ascension Parish, and I want to encourage everyone else and take this opportunity to join in, and I think you will find the biggest response we have for volunteers after they've attended is that, when can I do this again? And so please come by and sign up. Everybody's encouraged, and so we would like to get more and more people involved. So thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Valentine,
Yes.
just excuse me, just one other comment.
Yes.
Since we're thanking people, I'd like to thank Kathy Edmiston for the work that she's done in this parish with the school children over the years of special needs. And Kathy, you've been a real asset to Ascension Parish, and I thank you for what you've done.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Lambert.
Yeah, just one more thing. I think it's starting the first Tuesday in June, so I want to invite any of the council to especially attend it, starting first Tuesday in June for 8 weeks. Thank you.
And I will get scolded if I would mention, past President Harold Monchon sent me an email today. He had to go out of town, and he wanted to speak on this agenda item, but he also has provided a letter of support for the Special Tuesday. Any other discussion? Any opposition? I'm sorry, Councilman Savoy.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is for administration, and I'm asking the parish president, had the administration
Yes.
had opportunity to read this, and you concur with it? And
Yes.
it protects the parish.
Yes, it does. Ricky Babin and parish presidents were very aware.
And we already had $5,000 in the budget for
Right.
this year,
That's
so I'm
correct.
not sure exactly
No different.
what
It's
that's
just
in there.
stating it in the
Okay, that's all.
endeavor. Okay? All right, any other discussion? Any opposition? So moved. Okay, we will now move to agenda item number 19, under planning and zoning recommendations. Number 19 is an amendment to development codes, code tables, lots with a 25-foot building line to be reduced to 12 and 1/2 foot, cul-de-sacs and turnarounds. And who is representing planning?
I think it came.
I'll take
Chairman?
Is that It says planning and zoning. I'm
Yes,
just,
sir.
okay. Councilman Check Snyder, you want to fill us in on this?
Thank you. I was at the meeting. If you're in a subdivision, we have a 25-foot setback line on normal subdivisions from the road. And when you get to the end of a cul-de-sac subdivision or a T turnaround, that 25-foot setback makes it very, very awkward to place housing in that area because it just doesn't fit within the 25 feet. And so everyone was beginning to go to the Board of Variances, and everyone was getting a variance to make adjustments. And so if you see the drawing on it, you will understand it was explained quite well by them. And so to eliminate everyone from going to the Board of Adjustments, they recommended, and we agreed to move it to 12.5 feet at the cul-de-sac and or T turnaround. And so it's just a physical thing, fitting in the houses in a proper place in the subdivision, and it just makes common sense. And so it was very recommended, and we agreed 100% with it.
Okay. So I'm looking for a motion.
So
Make-
moved.
Moved by Councilman Lambert. Second. Do I have a
Second.
Second by Councilman Check Snyder. Just for a point of information, this is out of the Strategic Planning Committee meeting of February 26th. Councilman Savoy.
Y'all help me out here. What's the purpose of a cul-de-sac or T turnaround?
Turn around so you get back down the road.
It's in a dead-end street, and parish requirements are that you have to have adequate turning radius for automobiles and trucks. It's a certain amount that's required. And because of the design, the 25-foot setbacks does not fit in to these things, and therefore people always come to the Board of Adjustments. And after one after another, they were all approved, and so they got together and they found out that with 12.5 feet, they could fit the design within our current regulations for the T turnaround areas and the cul-de-sac areas. So it just made common sense that now people don't have to go to the Board of Adjustments to get something that's common sense.
Well, I am concerned about it because I knew the answer to what a cul-de-sac was and what a T turnaround was for. But have we taken into consideration school buses turning around and garbage trucks turning around, or bigger service trucks? Is 12.5 feet going to accommodate that?
This is not the cul-de-sac. This is the property line,
The
the
house,
building
the house
line
itself.
for the houses that are around the cul-de-sacs.
The cul-de-sac will still be there.
It
or the T
forces,
The house is going to be 12.5 feet from the road.
right.
What this does, right now, obviously, it's 25 feet.
It's 25
This-
feet.
Changing this development code would reduce that to 12.5 feet.
We're doing that right now. All of them are coming to the Board of Adjustments, and we're putting them in right now at 12.5 feet. We're currently doing this, but they have to go through the Board of Adjustments, and they're doing it on a regular basis. And
Mr.
so
Valentine, I
it
think
was
Mr.
suggested by Mr. Parrington, our attorney, that goes to the planning and zoning meetings, and it was concurred by everyone that this was a proper thing to do. And he brought us some maps and everything, so it was pretty obvious once you looked at the maps and you could understand what was presented.
Okay, Mr. Lambert.
Yeah, I ditto what Kent said. It is a recommendation coming from administration and planning and zoning to do so also.
Okay, Mr. Hillensback.
I believe Mr. Sigler, our planning director, might have a comment. He raised his hand.
Give him to the mic. Give him to the mic.
That recommendation comes because
To the mic.
That recommendation is based on we have minimum road standards that take into account what it takes to move a fire truck through or a large piece of equipment for an emergency purpose. But in this case, particularly in the case of a cul-de-sac, switching from a 12-foot setback to a 25-foot setback, 25-foot setback on a pie-shaped piece of property, as all cul-de-sac pieces of property are, basically seriously limits how and what kind of house can be built on the standard size lot. But backing it up to a 12-foot offset gives you a lot greater ability to build something there worthwhile. everyone was asking for variances right and left, and basically, I mean, there's no question why. You just can't really build on a cul-de-sac piece of property with a 25-foot setback on most of them.
Okay. Any other discussion? Councilman Thompson.
I'd like to make a motion to
I'll second that.
delay this and
No, I want to withdraw my
go
second.
back and look at it.
Okay. Substitute motion by
I'd like to make a substitute motion.
substitute motion by Councilman Thompson to defer the action on this agenda item. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Savoy. Discussion on the substitute motion. Mr. Lambert.
Okay, we're going to defer it back where? It came out of committee on unanimous recommendation, so I'm just wondering where you're going to defer it to.
Well, we send it back to committee, and hopefully we can get the plan and zoning director or somebody to come here with a report. You know, right now, it's confusing because
Okay.
everybody have their opinion of what it's supposed to be.
All right. Finish, Mr. Thompson? Okay. Mr. Lambert, you finished? Okay. Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
Yeah, Kent, did we have also the utilities involved with this, utility committee?
No, it didn't affect the utility.
I would like, Mr. Chairman, if we'd also bring that back and involve the utility, all of the utilities out there to, I mean, because we have a certain footage that we have to deal with.
But it does not affect the utilities. It is no
Well,
effect.
if at all possible, I'd like to bring them in also.
This is fine. I mean, I just don't know what other information you can introduce.
Okay. This is what government's all about. Okay, we got a motion, substitute motion in front of us. All right. As the agenda item appears, it has already been discussed in strategic planning and came out unanimous. It is because that there has been numerous requests of the variance board to change these cul-de-sacs. My understanding that they have approved several of them, so they're just trying to get this done so they don't have to approve any more. So we will, unless you finish. Yes, Mr. Hillensback.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to point out and remind everyone that Mr. Howard Dalton, with the Board of Adjustments that grants these variances, he came before the Strategic Planning Committee and explained all this and said, look, we are approving these left and right, and we need to go ahead and change this. So it came from the Board of Adjustments committee to strategic planning. It's been through 2 committees already, and it's just a change of setback from 25 feet to 12 and a half feet to allow those houses to be quality homes to be built. And I just really don't see any reason to send it back. I kind of think we need to go ahead and pass this because they're going to continue to grant the variances until, you know, we change the ordinance.
Councilman Fontenot.
Well, we've always said that what we rule on, we can always undo. I would think that we should go ahead and approve this tonight. And if there are people here that feel like there's something else that should be done, that they research it and bring it back to us if it needs to be undone.
Any other discussion on substitute motion? Substitute motion is to defer, send back to committee. Everybody understand? Okay, we'll vote on substitute motion first. Any opposition to the substitute motion?
Object.
Roll call, Ms. Patterson.
Councilman Joseph.
Object. Object.
Councilman Chase Nada.
Object.
Councilman Thompson.
For it.
Councilwoman Fontenot. Councilman Dempsey Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Savoy.
Object.
Councilman Hillensback.
I'm an object.
I'm sorry.
Object.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
Object.
Got six nays.
6
seven,
objects.
and 2 yeas.
Okay, substitute motion fails. We'll now vote on the original motion to approve. Do I have any objections? No objection? Number 19 is approved. We'll move now to agenda item number 20. a zoning review ID 1673.07, Lot A for Walmart, located on the southwest corner of Airline Highway and Perkins Road, LA 427, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to mixed use. I have a speaker, Mr. Charles Landry, who is at the mic. Mr. Landry.
Good evening.
You also have Mr. Galloway with
yes,
you?
sir.
Okay, so you'll be doing
yes,
it together.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you. My
You'll
name
have
is Charles
6 minutes.
Landry.
You'll have 6 minutes.
Yes, sir. I hope I don't use nearly much of that. My name is Charles Landry. I represent Walmart. This is a fairly simple matter. If you recall, and it's hard to believe it's been 4 years ago when the property at Perkins and Airline was zoned. I know it's amazing, isn't it? For this project, we utilized the 51% rule. What Mr. Galloway is passing out shows you, could I have this on this, show it here? Okay, thank you so much. Everything in blue, the dark blue, was zoned mixed use. Everything in the crosshair was less than 51% and became mixed use as a result of your 51% rule. This little area right here, which is on the side of Walmart, it's about 2 acres. It's presently zoned mixed use under the 51% rule. As long as Walmart owns that property, it stays mixed use. And the intent of Walmart pre-Katrina was to own the property, construct something, and lease it. Post-Katrina, with the GO Zone benefits, most of the people interested in this 2-acre piece of property is interested in only buying it. So if we sold it, it would not be sold with the existing MU zoning because it would be no longer part of the blue hatched area. So what we're asking tonight is that that property be separately zoned mixed use, continue the exact same zoning designation. Importantly, the area that's gold, which is 12, a little over 12, almost 13 acres, which remains RM, and which under our agreement would remain RM as long as Walmart owned it. That doesn't change at all. Also, in discussions with the residents in Magnolia Oaks, we had made a number of commitments with respect to that property that we're asking to be reaffirmed, so to speak, as mixed use. I've given you the commitments in front of you, which we want to resubmit to make it very clear that nothing at all has changed with respect to this 2-acre piece of property. For example, this property cannot be accessed from Perkins Road. The neighbors didn't want any more curb cuts into the property. It can only be accessed through the existing entrances to Walmart. So if you were going to visit a merchant, restaurant on this site, you'd have to come into the site and then go into the property. Very importantly, and this is unique in this parish, the property has to front on Perkins. So what you're going to see from Perkins is the front of the building, although the parking is in the rear. New urbanism put the buildings on the front and let the parking be on the rear. Now, it's quite expensive because they actually have to have 2 entrances. But that's what we agreed to elevate from the design standpoint that piece of property. There has to be a berm. If you see on the commitments, there's a 2-foot landscape berm to soften the front of the property. And also, importantly, no pylon signs. It has to be only monument signs low to the ground. So we want to resubmit all of the commitments that we did with respect to the original project. Nothing has changed other than Walmart's ability to sell the property in the future and have the existing mixed-use zoning go with the property. And I'm happy to answer any questions. We've had, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Just for a point of interest, this is a unanimous decision of the Planning and Zoning
Yes, sir.
Commission to approve.
Yes, sir.
To accept. Councilman Holmesback.
I'd like to offer a motion to approve based on the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and also that all these commitments be made part of the official minutes and filed appropriately.
Perfect.
Just as a matter of, let's keep everything in writing.
Right. Mr. Holmesback moves to accept the Planning and Zoning recommendation, which is to accept. Second by Ms. Fontenot. Discussion.
I just wanted to say that I did have several people call me about this particular piece of property, and when they found out it was where it was located at, they were thinking it was in the back in the gold section.
Right.
They did object to that, but once they found out exactly what was going on, I had everybody that pretty well was okay with it.
This,
Okay, yes.
just one
Any
other
other
comment.
discussion? Yes, Mr. Hillensback.
This is an excellent list of commitments from Walmart, and you're doing it right, working with the community. So I commend Mr. Landry, you and the Walmart Corporation for being a good neighbor and coming forth with the commitments made.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I'll make sure Walmart hears those words, too. Thank you.
Right. Any other discussion? Any opposition to the motion?
Thank you.
So
Good
moved.
evening.
Thank you. Move now to agenda item number 21. Zoning Review ID 1674.07, lots 1A, 1B, 2A, 3A of the Verna B. Callaway property for Steve Hutchison, located on the southeast corner of LA Highway 621 and J.D. Broussard Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to mixed use. And this will be accept to deny. That is also a unanimous decision of the Planning and Zoning to deny. We have several speakers on this. First speaker up will be Ms. Laura Fleetwood. Ms. Fleetwood.
Good afternoon. I'm Laura Fleetwood, and I'm at the very corner of J.D. Broussard and 621, and I have a major concern on that being approved, also due to the fact that the property across the street, which is Bishop Woods and 621, gentleman said that if that gets approved, he'd also like, because he owns both corners, to follow and also request for that to be changed on the zoning also. I've only been in that house a little under 2 years, and yes, the traffic has increased, and Ascension Parish is increasing, and we have 3 new subdivisions coming up from Babin, and all that traffic that wants to go to Airline or interstate has to come right up on 621, which really is going to face a lot of problems. Having a business right at the corner, I really find that would be a hardship. So I just ask for you guys to please deny. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fleetwood. Next, we'll have Mr. Keith Boudreau.
Hi, good afternoon. Keith Boudreau. I live at J.D. Broussard. I've been there about 11 years. I'm a lifetime resident of the parish. My property is adjacent to the Hutchinson property. And in support of the Zoning Commission's recommendation that you deny this request on the basis of spot zoning, having been a lifetime resident of this parish, 621 from start to finish is basically the same, except for the intersection at 44 and at 61. There's been some development there, but other than that, mostly what you have are second and third generation businesses, and in fact the only real exception to that is Hutch's Hardware, which is owned by the same person, and it was right next door to an existing, second generation business and across the street from other commercial. So I feel that opening this up will only open up the entire 621 corridor to more commercial. So I'd appreciate it if you could please agree with the Zoning Commission and deny this request. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boudreau. Next will be Mr. Paul Callaway. Mr. Callaway. Mr. Callaway? Okay, all right. Ms. Deborah Morris. Ms. Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. I am here on behalf of my father, Harold Dozat, and my mother, Hilda. They own several acres of land on J.D. Broussard. We're here to ask you to support the Planning and Zoning Commission's denial of the rezoning. And what I brought to the Planning and Zoning Commission was their own code. And the request had been to change from a medium intensity residential district, which should not allow, according to the code, commercial development should not be allowed to disrupt the residential character of the neighborhood. This is, well, up until the Angel Estates was built, it was mostly properties like my dad's, 6, 7, 8 acres of land all along J.D. Broussard. Now we've got some subdivisions going in nearby. We have nothing commercial. We're having a difficult time now getting out of our driveway, much less getting onto 621. If we had a commercial development on the corner there, it would be next to impossible to get out onto 621 going in either direction. And with the mixed-use corridor, it's a high-intensity commercial district, and it's not supposed to be adjacent to a residential area, and that's what the proposal was, to make this adjacent to this residential area. And again, the Planning and Zoning Commission denied the zoning change, and we would just ask that you follow through with their recommendation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Morris. Last one is Mr. Steve Hutchison. Mr. Hutchison.
How y'all doing this evening?
Yep.
Great. I would like to delay this decision to a later date, if this is possible, by the council. Can we do that?
That's your comment, Steve. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bud. Okay. No more speakers on this. Agenda item number 21. Excuse me. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Lambert.
I think this is on the agenda to accept or deny tonight, so I don't know if we can delay an item that's on the agenda to accept or deny. I ask legal that right quick. Mr. Bourquois?
I think as long as you allowed for the public hearing, I think you can make a decision another time. I don't see why you couldn't, you know. You've heard the comments, you have them, you know, and so I think you could delay your decision to another time. I don't see why.
It can be deferred. It will need a motion. In the past, to be very honest with you, there have been some others that have been pulled off. Planning and zoning essentially goes through the routine, and they put this on. Planning and zoning puts this on. Technically, the only people that can pull it off would be planning and zoning or the council. We can defer it. That's up to you. Okay?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we recommend the planning and zoning's recommendation to deny because of not a reason for deferral. I don't know if there's any reason for deferral. It's already been made a motion by the planning and zoning to deny it, so that's my motion to accept planning and zoning's
Moved by
recommendation.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
Second.
Second by Councilman Schexnayder. Mr. Lambert's motion is to accept the planning and zoning recommendation to deny. Any discussion? Any opposition to the motion? Being no opposition, motion is accepted as read. It is denied. We move now to agenda item number 22, zoning ID for 1675.07, track 2 for Paul Calloway, located on south side of LA 621, approximately 500 feet east of J.D. Broussard Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to mixed use. Accept or deny. This is also a unanimous decision to deny by planning and zoning. We do have a group of speakers that would like to speak on this. Ms. Laura Fleetwood also signed up for this. Ms. Fleetwood.
Again, for the same reasons, the concern of having business in that area, also knowing that that piece of property is 5 acres, and I just can't fathom what kind of business would be put there for 5 acres to only compound the traffic. So I'd ask you to deny, please.
Thank you, Ms. Fleetwood. Mr. Boudreaux, Keith Boudreaux.
Thank you. Basically, the same comments in terms of spot zoning and the commission's recommendation, but I did forget to acknowledge I have some sheets from about 10 residents that could not be here tonight who certainly oppose any rezoning. And also, we have quite a number of residents from the area. If I could ask them to please stand. So I appreciate their support. The support was overwhelming through all of this, so thank you. And if you would, we'd appreciate your denying this request.
Ms. Deborah Morris.
I just want to reiterate what I spoke of earlier. Also, on a deferral of the motion, everyone had an opportunity at the Planning and Zoning Committee to present their case before the Planning and Zoning Committee. We all did. And then a decision was made. And the decision was to deny this rezoning. So we would just ask that you accept the Planning Commission, accept the denial. Thank you very much.
We understand. Okay, thank you, Ms. Morris. Mr. Paul Calloway. Ms. Calloway?
How y'all doing?
Hi.
Paul Calloway, and yeah, we went before the board and they unanimously voted us down, but they also told us at the board that there hadn't been anything zoned commercial on 621 other than Hutch's Hardware. And I got a letter here in April of 2002, they rezoned GovNet Seafood commercial, which my property is next door to GovNet Seafood. And I understand the traffic's bad and everything on 621, and it may not be the place to put commercial at this time, but I gave it a shot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Calloway. Mr. Steve Hutchison. Mr. Steve passes. Okay. Now we'll deal with agenda item number 22. Mr. Todd Lambert.
I make that motion that we go ahead and accept Planning and Zoning's recommendation to deny.
Moved by Mr. Lambert, Todd Lambert. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Shake Snyder. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved. Okay, we'll move now to introduction of ordinances. Number 23, to introduce the introduction of an ordinance to prevent the obstruction of any fire hydrant construction, plantings, or other device so as to restrict access by firefighters. It's in your packet.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Salvo to introduce, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Councilman
Does the
Hillsback.
ordinance have to be read by our legal counsel, Mr. I believe it does.
Not till
Not tonight?
the
Okay.
public hearing.
Introduction.
Just an introduction. Any other?
Give Mr. Buqua his shot at the
Yeah,
mic, you know. So.
he's not going to get it tonight. Oh, he may get it later. Any other discussion? Any opposition to the introduction? So moved. Agenda item number 24, introduction of an ordinance to promulgate rules or regulations for the uniform installation of fire hydrants in the parish of Ascension and for the proper maintenance of such devices.
Motion to introduce, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Hillsback, second by Councilwoman Fontenot. Any discussion? Any opposition to introduce? So moved. We'll move now to agenda item number 25, introduction of an ordinance to revoke the 10-foot utility servitude running east and west 20 feet north of the southerly property lines of original lots 2-A-A-1 and 2-A-A-2 as shown on the plat of the survey of simple divisions of lots 2-A-A-1 and 2-A-A-2 for the Jimmy Gaultier property into 2A-A-1-A and 2-A-A-A-1-B and 2-A-A-A-2-A through 2-A-A-2-C for the Ascension Development Group, LLC. I'm sorry that I officially have to read that and make sure that all dashes are included.
Motion to introduce.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert to introduce. Second by Councilman Shake Snyder. Any discussion? Councilman Savoy.
If y'all remember correctly, this item was on the agenda at the last council meeting, and I took up issue with it, that I had some concerns about it. I did look into it to some degree. I still have some concerns about it, but because there's another process, another step in the process, which it has to go before the Planning Commission, I will support this introduction of an ordinance to give the public the opportunity to speak at the public hearing. I will probably support it at the public hearing too, but I will take issue up at the Planning Commission. I was hoping that I could make the Planning Commission meeting to take up my concerns, but unfortunately something came up and I could not make it. I will be at the Planning Commission meeting to take up my issue. And also there's been some other information that's come alight since the last meeting on concerns about this property, which will be shared at the Planning Commission process, Mr. Chairman. That's all.
Thank you, Councilman Savoy. Any other discussion? Any opposition to the motion?
Mr. Valentine.
I'm sorry, yes.
I guess I'm a little confused. I thought we had in the paperwork, this has already been before the Planning and Zoning Commission.
This is just an introduction to an ordinance to revoke the 10-foot utility servitude.
I understand,
There
but
may
it's
be
not
some-
going back now,
No,
is it?
there may be some other items.
Who is Jerry going to appear before?
Councilman Hillensbeck, that's Mr. Savoy's decision. He can do whatever he likes. If there's a question, you need to get with Mr. Savoy after the meeting and find out what his problem is, okay?
Okay, and I understand your point, but the point I'm making, this has already been before Planning and Zoning. Their recommendation is to approve. Is it going back for?
No, sir, it is not. It's an introduction to an ordinance. An ordinance is a law, and that's what we're doing. Mr. Savoy, you want to comment on that?
Yes.
Yeah, you have the floor.
Yes, sir, I would. That's where some of the confusion came in at the last meeting, because the only thing we had to go by was the map that the council was presented. Now, if you remember, there was no one from administration to be able to guide us through this agenda item. When you look at this plat, it does look like it has been split up legally into 5 lots. But realistically, after talking with administration and the department, these lines should not be here because that has not gone before the Planning Commission. All you're looking at here is a 2+ acre lot, one lot. But that's very confusing when it gets to the council level, because I myself thought it was divided and then gone through the Planning Commission, but that's not the case. The only thing at hand and the only thing that's being proposed is the 10-foot utility servitude, period. That's it. They still have to go before the Planning Commission to split this property up into 5 and then ask for a variance. So that's where some confusion came in at the last meeting. Then whenever we didn't have anybody from the department to explain, be there at the meeting to explain, that's why we done what we done.
And thank you, Councilman Savoy. Mr. Hillsbeck, any other comment?
No, that's
okay.
fine.
I did make an error. I was not. It was not on a regular sign-in sheet, but I do have 2 people that want to speak on this agenda item. So I apologize to the council. We have already made a motion, but that we haven't taken a vote on it. So it still is in order that we listen to these 2 people. Mr. Roland Stevens. I certainly apologize, Mr. Stevens. I should have let you talk first.
If it would please the council, when it went before the Planning and Zoning Commission for a simple division, the problem they had with the simple division is that it was unclear where the utility servitude would be. The plot plan we had depicted a utility servitude in the middle of a access servitude. So the Planning and Zoning Commission is who asked us twice now to have this removed. There is also a utility servitude in existence at the back of this property, and there's also a drainage ditch there, so that might address some of the concerns of Mr. Savoy. We have the plans and the plots and the engineering work here with Ms. Ella, if there's any other questions that we might can handle at this time, if it's necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Rowland.
Mr. Valentine, I have a question.
No question. question.
Okay, question to him is did this plat map go before the Planning and Zoning Commission with the lines drawn diagonally showing that the, as Mr. Savoy's question, have they seen this same plat?
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding.
The plat
according to
that you're
paperwork I
looking
have,
at is the
it just-
same plat that was presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, and their recommendation in my packet is to approve and to come forward. That's what I
Yes,
don't
sir.
understand about it.
They've-
It's already been to the Planning
They've
and Zoning
recommended it here twice now.
Yeah.
The first time it was deferred, they looked at it, they still asked me to have the servitude moved, so they put it back on the schedule so we could get it done here tonight.
Right. Well, that's my understanding. I'm just confused unless
Okay.
Mr. Savoy is going to appeal it.
No, Mr. Hillsback,
Yeah.
I will humbly ask you to read the introduction. It says to revoke a 10-foot utility servitude. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything about approving the simple division, approving what's been done on the, all it says is to revoke a 10-foot utility servitude. That's all I know. I mean, yeah, you have the information that's in front of you that was presented to planning and zoning. There may be some correspondence in here that you might want to read, that you might talk about, but all this ordinance says revoke a 10-foot servitude.
And I understand that, Mr. Valentine, and again, I'm just saying that this...
What are you reading in?
I'm reading Planning Commission meeting notes of April 11th, 2007, Commission action. Staff recommends revocation of the servitude as recommended by DPW, and on down the line, it was unanimous vote to come to the council tonight.
And once again, all it is a 10-foot servitude. All right. Any other discussion? Okay, thank you, Mr. Stevens. I have one more.
If I could be of
You
any
finished?
further assistance, please call on me.
Thank you. Ms. Ellen Jackson.
Ellen Jackson with McLean and Associates. I'm the one who prepared this plat. It went to the Planning Commission, and because where the location of the utility servitude was, they asked us if we would just move it. This has been the same plat that has gone through the Planning Commissions 3 times, and we have all the letters from the utility companies and also DPW stating that it's okay. They have no objection for us to move this utility servitude and replace it on the other side. And that's all we're asking to do.
Thank you. All right. We have a motion and a second discussion. Mr. Shakespeare.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The problem came in, and this will help solve everybody's. They came in to get a simple division of property. It's a question of what do you do first, and the Planning Commission, before they could divide the property, they had some servitude issues, and they needed to revoke this servitude before they can go about the process of simple division of property. Where Mr. Savoy has his problems, and which includes me, has some concerns, which I also have some concerns, is once the property is subdivided, then there's some concern on the other information that comes out. But this is the first step, and now it has to go back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for approval of the simple division of property.
So there will be another
And
step
so-
going back.
But in order for them to do that, they have to revoke their servitude first. The issues in question and the concerns is going to come up at that time. It hadn't happened yet. We all thought it happened because the map that we had the lines drawn.
Right,
And we really
okay.
shouldn't have gotten those lines.
I appreciate the
And so that's why.
explanation. Okay.
Any other discussion? Ms. Fontenot.
I just wanted to verify that. I did go with Mr. Savoy to talk to Mr. Brock, and Mr. Brock indicated that these lines of division really don't exist at the time. And so I think that's what he was trying to say, and I think that's what Kent said. And it is about revoking the servitude and not dividing the property.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any opposition to the motion? So moved. We will move now to agenda item number 26, a public hearing to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to crossroads commercial for land located west side of LA Highway 431, approximately 800 feet south of LA Highway 621 for Moore and Sam Moore, dated April 22nd, 1945, and recorded in COB 83 Folio 8 of Ascension Parish, zoning ID 1631.06 for Kelly Boudreaux. You own, Mr. Bouclois.
Okay, the purpose is to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from medium-intensity residential to crossroad commercial. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code provides for a procedure for its amendment to allow the rezoning of a property to a different classification. Whereas the herein below described property is located as such that rezoning the property is in conformity with adjacent land uses, in conformity with the general land use plan of the parish, not injurious to the adjacent properties, and fully meets the qualifications for rezoning set forth under Louisiana law. Be it ordained that the following described property be rezoned from medium-intensity residential to crossroads commercial. We'll attach a copy of the property description. It's zoning review ID 1631.06 for Kelly and Lisa Boudreau. We'll attach that property description as Exhibit A. Be it further ordained that the land use map of Ascension Parish Development Code be amended to reflect these rezonings, and that the Office of Planning and Zoning be authorized to make such changes.
Do I have a motion to open public hearing? Motion by Dempsey Lambert to open the public hearing, second by Ms. Fontenot. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to speak on this public hearing, please approach the secretary and sign in. You'll have your 3 minutes.
Motion to close.
Seeing no one, Mr. Councilman Joseph moves to close the public hearing, second by Councilwoman Fontenot. Any objection? Agenda item number 27, the ordinance.
So move on the ordinance.
Moved by Mr. Todd Lambert. Second by Councilman Thompson. Move the ordinance. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
This was a recommendation by the planning and zoning that you would accept.
Yes, it was. It was they only had one nay on the recommendation. It's in your packet. Any discussion? Any opposition?
I object.
Mr. Sabo objects. Motion passes. We'll move now to agenda item number 28, public hearing to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to mixed use for a portion of a 37.86-acre tract of Orlis Abear property located on the east side of Airline Highway, approximately 200 feet south of Highway 73 for Lance Roulette. Zoning review ID 1657.07. Mr. Bouclois.
Purpose, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from medium-intensity residential to mixed use. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code provides for a procedure for its amendment to allow the rezoning of property to a different classification. Whereas the herein below described property is located as such that rezoning the property is in conformity with adjacent land uses, in conformity with the general land use of the parish, not injurious to the adjacent properties, and fully meets the qualifications for rezoning set forth under Louisiana law. Be it ordained that the following described property be rezoned from medium-intensity residential to mixed use. Zoning review ID 1657.07, a portion of a 37.86-acre tract of the Aurelius Abear property for Lance Roulette. Property description will be attached as Exhibit A. Be it further ordained that the land use map of the Ascension Parish Development Code be amended to reflect these rezonings, and that the Office of Planning and Zoning be authorized to make such changes.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Moved by Todd Lambert to open the public hearing, second by Councilwoman Fontenot. Any objection? Public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to speak on this agenda item may approach the secretary and sign in. You'll have 3 minutes.
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Seeing no one, Councilman Hillensbeck has moved to close the public hearing. Second by Mr. Oliver Joseph. Any opposition? So moved. Agenda item number 21.
Move the ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Hillensbeck to move the ordinance. Second by Councilman Joseph. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved. We'll move now to agenda item 16 that was moved to 29A, and this is the appeal for job reinstatement for Sandra Mira, I guess it is, Mira, and Miss Erica Joseph. I would request, do either of these former employees have someone here to represent them? Would you come present your name?
Good evening. My name is Frances Smith, and I'm the legal representative for both Ms. Mira and Ms. Joseph. And we are requesting that these matters be consolidated so that we would only need one session in order to present both of their cases.
Okay. Since you are representing both of them, we do not have a problem with doing this. Would you like this in open session or executive session?
We would do it in executive session.
Executive session is requested for the appeal. Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert to go into executive session. Second by Councilman Thompson. Before we move, gentlemen, Ms. Smith, do you have anyone that you would request to be in with you?
We sent, yes. I would like for both of the parties to be present.
Yes,
My sister, Ms. Matthews.
I'm sorry?
Both Ms.
Another
Mira,
name?
Ms. Gloria Matthews.
Ms. Matthews, Ms. Suzanne Patterson, please note Ms. Matthews can also attend the executive committee.
And we do have, and we did provide to Mr. Babin a list of persons that we would like to have present as witnesses, but I'm advised that most of them are not here.
Okay. Mr. Roy Katz, may I ask you, who would you like in the executive session besides our attorney and Ms. Patterson?
I would like their last immediate supervisor. He's present here to be in the room, and I'd also like to ask our oncoming chief administrative officer.
Okay, that's Mr. Wilson, James Wilson.
Mr. Wilson to be
Mr.
present, and Mr. Pierce to be present.
We'll allow you to do that. Okay, we'll go in executive session. Now, any opposition to go into executive session? None? Okay, we'll retire to the council, to the conference chambers.
Motion to reconvene, Mr. Chairman. Sure.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
I'm looking at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yeah. No, that was Smith. That's Ms. Smith. Okay, Mr. Chairman, we'll motion to reconvene.
Motion by Mr. Lambert, Todd Lambert, to reconvene into regular session from executive session, second by Mr. Councilman Adrian Thompson. Council was in chambers in executive session on the appeal of job reinstatement for Sandra Mira and Erica Joseph. Councilman Oliver Joseph.
I'd like to make a motion that Sandra Mira and Erica Joseph shall be reinstated to their former job position.
He's not speaking to Mike, Joel.
Hang on a second. Mr. Joe, speaking to Mike, please. Thank you.
All right. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
All right. Motion is to Sandra Mira and Erica Joseph shall be reinstated to their former job position pending agreement to the terms and condition of their reinstatement by Francis Smith, attorney of Sandra Mira and Erica Joseph, and the Ascension Parish attorney.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Thompson. Any other discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Reinstatement is agreed to pending attorney's agreements. Do I? Motion to adjourn by Mr. Saddle, second by Mr. Lambert. Ascension Parish Council stands in adjournment.